You absolutely need to make sure that every kid is functionally literate and numerate by second grade, okay? Because if they don't make it by second grade, you've lost those kids forever. So one of the most striking pieces of data I have from 5 years of research in the state of Andhra Pradesh, where we followed 40,000 kids, the same kids year after year after year, is you can look at these learning trajectories over time and plot this by percentile. And what you see is that it's only the top 10% of the kids who are keeping pace with the textbook. The middle 70% are kind of struggling behind. And the bottom 10 or 20% are learning nothing, even though they've spent 4 years in school. Okay. And after second grade, if you've lost them, it's completely flat.
So one, make sure that children are literate by second grade. What's number two?
Right, so I think, if you think about just good management practice, right, it starts by saying identify the goals, make those goals very clear to your system. Measure and hold people accountable for delivering on those outcomes, right? So then that gets me to governance. So the system needs, I think, an education system that tries to do too much and basically does nothing, right? So the first key piece of advice, so let me give you an example, right? Governments sensibly, I think, talk about education policy goals around access, equity, and quality, right? But the problem is, once you translate these concepts into bureaucratic practice, access is defined as I need to build more schools, right? Equity is defined as I need to create special scholarships and schemes for marginalized and underprivileged communities. And quality is then defined as more inputs and more training. Okay? And so my single point of advice to any government would be to say...
We've gone down from 5 to 1 point.
Yeah.
1 point, okay,
one
even
point.
better.
It's 1 point.
Policymakers will love this. 1 point of advice.
It's 1 point, right? Is single-minded focus on learning outcomes, right? And functional literacy and numeracy by grade 2. And that solves all of these problems. Why? Because today the access problem is not so much about do I have a school to go to, because people keep worrying about dropouts, right? Oh, I need to build more schools because kids are dropping out. But what is so clear is that the dropouts are happening not because of child labor, not because there's economic needs to do that. The dropouts, and I speak mostly from India, which is where my experience is, but I think this is true in many parts of the world. There's no parent who doesn't want his kid to get educated, right? I mean, people recognize just viscerally that given the poverty they're in, that education is the only way out. They're dropping out not because they don't want education, they're dropping out because they're learning nothing.